Welcome to the picture book reading of Little Orange Honeyhood, a Carolina folktale. I am Lisa Anne Cullen, the author and illustrator. Little Orange Honeyhood is published by the University of South Carolina Press and Young Palmetto Books in Columbia, South Carolina. I hope you enjoy listening to Blossom's Carolina Adventure. Warm summer breezes blew through the cottage windows and scattered Mama's flour from the kitchen tabletop to the floor. "Blossom!" Mama called out. "Yes, Mama." Blossom's voice purred like a whippoorwill on a star-studded night. "I'm making peach pie for Grandma," Mama said. She flattened the crust with her rolling pin. "I want you to take it to her in the morning." "Alone?" Blossom asked. "Yes, you're old enough," Mama said. "Can I take the boat?" Blossom asked. "I'll be taking the boat to Grandma's," said Mama. "You'll have to take the trail." "The trail is so long," said Blossom. "Grandma needs her medicine," said Mama. "She's got mosquito fever and feeling a little green. This peach pie, orange blossom honey, and black tea will heal her ailin'. I'll catch up with you at Grandma's before supper. Now go on up to bed. When you close your eyes, carry the soothing bellows of the bullfrogs into your dreams." "Into my dreams!" Blossom sang out. She rushed up to her room. On tiptoes, she reached into her closet, then hung her orange traveling cloak over her rocking chair. She patted the delicate wrinkles, then hopped into bed next to the open window. The moonbeams danced upon the marsh, and the night song of the river carried Blossom into a deep sleep. Just before sunrise, Blossom sprang out of bed, got dressed, and whirled her thin orange cloak over her shoulders. She tucked her hair into the hood, fastened the acorn button, and twirled like a tangerine twisting off a tree. On the table next to the front door, Blossom found Mama's palmetto basket. Tucked inside was Grandma's medicine, peach pie, orange blossom honey, and black tea. Atop the basket was Mama's pie cutter and a note. Blossom pulled back the curtain to let the orange sun shine a light. Blossom whispered, careful not to wake Mama. "Dear Blossom, be safe, sweet girl. Walk the sunny trail. Don't talk to strangers. Use my pie cutter for Grandma's peach pie. I love you, Mama. XO." Next to the basket was Blossom's breakfast, a sugar-crusted blackberry muffin. Blossom gobbled it up before her shoes soaked up the morning dew. She headed down the trail toward the plump orange sun. The river wind barely whispered at dawn. The marsh water lay as flat as a pancake. The cattail reeds stood soldier tall, and one lonely cricket ratcheted his legs at the base of a pine. The rest of the crickets were asleep, plumb tired from strummin' all night. Blossom approached the edge of the river. She stood next to their boat. Cool mist rising from the water ran goosebumps up her arms and tickled her earlobes. A vine of Carolina jasmine blossomed at the base of a cypress tree just out of Blossom's reach. Jasmine was Grandma's favorite flower. Blossom stepped through the thick palmetto to grab it. A sudden splash of swamp water soaked her orange cloak as an alligator jumped through the cattails on the shore. "What you doing, little girl?" he asked. His breath smelled like old spinach. Blossom's heart beat hard. "I'm visiting my grandma upriver. She's got mosquito fever." Blossom jumped up, straightened her damp orange cloak, gripped her basket tight, and walked toward the trail. "You, Mr. Alligator, are a stranger, and I don't talk to strangers." Alligator eyed Grandma's dock, then slipped into the river and disappeared into the muddy brown waters. Blossom headed up the trail toward Grandma's house, jumping over cypress knees and fallen pines. "I'm coming, Grandma," she panted as she ran. Grandma woke to a knock, knock, knock at her door. "Who is it?" she hollered from bed. Alligator said, It's me, Grandma, it's me. Blossom, well, crazy cattails, child, come on in. Grandma looked through the thick mosquito net surrounding her bed. Alligator pushed the door open with his long nose. The door creaked like a swarm of noon crickets. Blossom, I said, come in, Grandma said. I'm right here, Grandma, said Alligator. He slammed the door shut with his swamp wet tail, slipped under the mosquito net and bed covers, and swallowed Grandma whole. She slid down his throat like a slurped oyster off its shell. Alligator flossed his teeth with her orange hair ribbon. He then tied the ribbon into a bow on his bumpy green head and fell into a deep sleep in Grandma's cozy feather bed. Waves of cricket calls followed Blossom up the trail. She knocked, knocked, knocked on Grandma's door. Her orange cloak was drenched with sweat. In a low, mossy voice, Alligator said, "Come in." Blossom entered and slipped on the wet floor. "Grandma, there's swamp water under my feet." She set her palmetto basket on the bedside table and parted the mosquito net. "Oh my, Grandma," Blossom said. "Mama said you were feeling a little green, but oh my, that must have been one mean mosquito that bit you. You have a very serious swamp flu, Grandma." "So," asked Alligator, "what do you have there?" Blossom reached into the basket. Your medicine, Grandma." "Yum," said Alligator. "Dessert." Alligator grabbed his round stomach and burped. The thick air smelled like a mix of old spinach and lavender. "I've never heard you burp, Grandma." Blossom pinched her nose. "Grandma, why is your breath so bad?" "I swallowed the mosquito that bit me, and he stuck in my throat," said Alligator. "Do you want to see?" he asked. "No," said Blossom. Alligator tapped his teeth with his long, sharp nails. "Grandma, why are your nails so long and sharp?" "So I can reach that mosquito bite," said Alligator. "Will you come closer and scratch it for me?" Blossom knew that Grandma never burped, and she never burped bad breath. She never ate mosquitoes, and she never scratched her mosquito bites ever. Blossom squinted her eyes at Grandma. She clenched her teeth and took a big step closer to Grandma's bed. "Sure, Grandma, I'll scratch your back. Turn over so I can reach it for you." Alligator grinned a jagged, toothy grin, fluffed Grandma's pillows, and lay on his full, round belly. "Grandma," Blossom said while she scratched Alligator's rough, bumpy back, "your hair ribbon is a little crooked." Blossom yanked on that hair ribbon and as fast as lightning wrapped it around his snout. Alligator lunged at her. Blossom wrapped the mosquito net around his head. Alligator tried to shake free of it and spun and spun and spun like alligators do until he hit the floor with a thud. He tangled himself up tight in that mosquito net like a little lizard in a spider's big web. Blossom gripped Mama's pie cutter and sliced Alligator's belly open like an ice-cold watermelon on a hot summer day. Grandma popped out. "Well, crazy cattails, Blossom," Grandma said. "You are a golden ray of Carolina sunshine, and P.U., I smell like swamp muck. Would you fill the tub for me, child? I'd like to take a cool bubble bath." After her bubble bath, Grandma donned fresh orange pajamas and showered Blossom with lavender hugs and kisses. Blossom tucked Grandma into freshly made bed and flipped through the pages of Grandma's cookbooks. Blossom stirred up her first ever summertime river feast. Honey grilled gator tail, deep fried gator nuggets, and piping hot sweet sugar cornbread filled Grandma's cottage with luscious aromas. Then Blossom stitched a new gator hide hair ribbon for Grandma and tied it into her fluffy white hair. As the sun melted into the marsh, just as the table was set, Mama rowed the boat up to Grandma's dock. Mama carried fresh picked Carolina jasmine and plunked it into a wooden vase at the center of the table. After dinner, they all sipped hot black tea, drizzled with orange blossom honey, and they ate tart, sweet peach pie until their plump bellies jiggled as they giggled into the night. Grandma's mosquito fever was gone before the moonbeams danced upon the marsh. Mama, Blossom, and Grandma fell fast asleep. They snored little snores in harmony with the cricket frog symphony floating on the warm summer breezes outside. Now, for the end of the book, what I'd like to show you are the North Carolina and South Carolina state symbols. And the sable palm was adopted into South Carolina in 1939. The pine is a North Carolina state symbol, and that was adopted in 1963. The yellow jasmine is a South Carolina symbol, and that was adopted in 1924. The honeybee is a North Carolina symbol, and that was adopted in 1973. The peach is South Carolina symbol, that was adopted in 1984. And the shad boat is a North Carolina symbol, that was adopted in 1987. There's also the North Carolina state flag, the South Carolina state flag, and of course the map of our beautiful states of North and South Carolina. This story takes place along the Congaree River. And the last two pages of A Little Orange Honey Hood, a Carolina folktale, you will find recipes. You will find a recipe for black tea with honey, peach pie, deep fried gator nuggets, honey grilled gator tail, and sweet sugar cornbread. And I want to thank you very much for listening to the reading of Little Orange Honey Hood, a Carolina folktale. This book is published by the University of South Carolina Press and Young Palmetto Books in beautiful Columbia, South Carolina. I hope you enjoyed listening to Blossom's Carolina Adventure. Thank you.